All right, picture this. You're packing for your flight, tossing your essentials into your carry-on, feeling like a pro because, hey, you've flown plenty of times before. You know the drill, no oversized liquids, no sharp objects, and definitely no fireworks because, obviously. But what if I told you they're perfectly normal, everyday items that could get you stopped at security? Yep, that's right. Some things you'd never suspect are actually banned on flights, and the list might surprise you. But before we get to that, here's something even more important. 2025 is bringing some big changes to airline carry-on rules, and if you don't know about them, your next flight could turn into a frustrating mess. So, let's start with the latest updates. What's changing, what's staying the same, and how these new rules might just cost you extra cash at the airport. And trust me, you'll want to stick around for the list of bizarre ban items because some of them are downright crazy. First, let's talk about something almost every traveler carries: power banks. They keep our devices charged on long flights. But did you know not all power banks are allowed on planes? Recent incidents, like the January 28, 2025 Air Busan flight where a suspected portable battery fire led to an emergency evacuation at Gimhae International Airport in South Korea. Power bank restrictions, fire risk, have prompted authorities to consider tightening regulations on carrying such devices. Anything over 160 WH, approximately 32,000 milliamp hours, is strictly banned on all flights, whether in carry-on or checked baggage. These high-capacity batteries pose significant fire risk and are completely prohibited for air travel. Airlines and the International Air Transport Association, commonly known as IATA, allow power banks up to 100 watt-hours, approximately 20,000 milliamp hours, in carry-on luggage only. For power banks between 100 WH and 160 WH, about 20,000 milliamp hours to 32,000 milliamp hours, you can carry up to 2 spare batteries in your carry-on, though airline approval is often required. One absolute no-go: packing power banks in checked luggage. Why? If a battery overheats and catches fire in a cargo hold, no one's there to stop it. Even power banks that comply with airline regulations aren't completely risk-free. As mentioned earlier in the Busan incident, a power bank that was legally allowed in carry-on luggage caught fire mid-flight, leading to a serious onboard emergency. Fortunately, the flight had not yet taken off at the time, allowing for a swift evacuation. This event proved that even approved batteries can be hazardous, prompting airlines worldwide to tighten restrictions even further. With aviation safety now laser-focused on battery-related risks, it's more important than ever to strictly follow existing power bank regulations. Always check with your airline before flying to ensure your devices meet the latest requirements. Smart luggage ban battery issues. If you own smart luggage, here's a rule you can't afford to ignore in 2025. Many airlines are now banning smart suitcases if the built-in battery cannot be removed. That means before heading to the airport, check your luggage. If the power bank inside is permanently attached, your high-tech suitcase might not make it past security. And let's be honest, a suitcase that gets rejected at check-in isn't so smart after all. Unless you're ready to buy a new bag on the spot, make sure your battery is removable to avoid unnecessary hassle and extra expenses. If you've flown to the UK recently, you might have heard the buzz. Some airports have relaxed the infamous 311 liquid rule. That means passengers can bring liquids in containers larger than 100 milliliters without stuffing them into a tiny plastic bag. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, not so fast. Here's the catch. Not every UK airport is on board with this change. In fact, as of June 2024, 6 airports, London City, Aberdeen, Newcastle, Leeds Bradford, Southend, and Teesside, have actually reinstated the old 311 rule over security concerns. So, if you've been traveling in the UK and are now flying out, don't assume the rules are the same everywhere. Double-check your departure airport's policy unless you want to chug your expensive skincare products at security. And what about the rest of Europe? Well, the EU had big plans to ditch the 311 rule by mid-2024, thanks to fancy new scanners that were supposed to detect banned substances. UK and EU liquid rules update more accurately. But guess what? Those scanners didn't quite pass the test. So, for now, Every single airport in the EU is sticking to the old restrictions, meaning you're still limited to 100 milliliters per container in a clear, resealable bag. Bottom line, the liquid rule that's been in place worldwide since 2006 is still alive and well. Airports tried to change it in 2024, but here we are in 2025, and nothing's different. If you want to breeze through security, stick to the 100 milliliters limit. This rule is still enforced on flights, especially international ones, with no exceptions in sight. Flying with budget airlines in Europe? Better double-check your carry-on bag. Airlines like EasyJet, Ryanair, and Wizz Air have shrunk the allowed size for free carry-ons, meaning if your bag doesn't fit their new limits, you'll be paying extra, either for a bigger carry-on or to check it in. For travelers, this means two options: downsize your luggage or pay up. Many passengers are now forced to buy smaller suitcases or accept the additional baggage fees, which can add up quickly. To avoid last-minute surprises at the gate, always check your airline's latest baggage policy before you fly, because what was free last year might cost you this time around. Flying with Air Canada on a basic economy ticket? Get ready for some changes starting January 3rd, 2025. Under the new policy, passengers can only bring one small personal item for free. Think a purse, backpack, or laptop bag. If you need a carry-on suitcase, budget airline carry-on fees you'll have to pay up. The first carry-on will cost $35, and if you have additional bags, that fee could jump to $65 per piece. Previously, carry-on suitcases were free, but with this update, even a small one comes with a fee. And it doesn't stop there. Starting January 21st, 2025, basic economy passengers will no longer get free seat selection. Instead, seats will be randomly assigned unless you're willing to pay extra to choose your spot. Previously, passengers could select their seats for free when checking in online 24 hours before departure. Long story short, if you're booking basic economy with Air Canada, budget for baggage fees and brace yourself for a middle seat unless you're willing to pay for an upgrade. We've talked about liquids and power banks, but there are plenty of other things that won't make it past security. Some of these might seem obvious, but it's worth a reminder, because if you try to bring them, you'll be stopped for sure. First, sharp objects and tools. Anything that can cut or injure someone is a no-go. That includes knives, scissors, multi-tools, throwing stars, axes, hammers, drills, and even large wrenches or pliers over 10 centimeters long. If you need to bring tools, check them in. They won't make it in your carry-on. Next, weapons, and anything that looks like one. This covers guns, ammo, tasers, stun guns, and even toy weapons or realistic-looking props. Want to check in a firearm? You'll need proper clearance first. And, of course, explosives and anything flammable. Fireworks, gas canisters, certain cleaning chemicals, and even some aerosols. Air Canada's new baggage policy are completely banned in both carry-on and checked luggage. All right, we all know the basics: no knives, no explosives, no oversized liquids. But what if I told you that a bag of flour could get you stopped at security? Or that your camping gear might be treated as a potential weapon? Yep, some totally normal, everyday items are straight up banned from carry-ons. And unless you want an awkward chat with airport security, you'll want to double-check your bag before heading to the airport. Packing a thermometer? Better double-check what kind, because if it's a mercury one, it's not getting past security. These little glass tubes might seem harmless, but break one, and you got a toxic spill emergency. That's why they're completely banned on flights. If you need to bring one, stick to digital or alcohol-based thermometers, or be prepared to leave yours behind at the checkpoint. Headed on a hiking trip? Your tent poles and stakes might not make it. Security sees them as sharp objects that could be used as weapons, so they won't be allowed in your carry-on. If you're bringing them, they need to be checked in, because apparently TSA thinks you might try to pitch a tent mid-flight. You packed a tiny multi-tool. Think it won't be a problem? Bad news, it might still get confiscated. Unexpected banned items list: scissors are only allowed if the blades are shorter than 4 inches, which is about 10 centimeters. But even then, security might take a second look. Box cutters, large shears, and anything that even slightly resembles a knife are an instant no-go. Some airlines don't allow multi-tools at all, regardless of blade size. The rule is simple. If it has a blade, put it in your checked luggage. Otherwise, you might have to say goodbye to your favorite tool. Right at security, you packed a toy gun for your kid? Bad news. It's not making it past security. It doesn't matter if it's bright orange and obviously fake, or even a harmless foam sword. If it looks like a weapon, security won't take any chances. They don't have time to play real or fake with potential threats, so just don't bring it. That baseball bat in your bag? Security doesn't care if you're the next MVP. It's still banned. Same goes for golf clubs, hockey sticks, and even lacrosse sticks. If it's big, solid, and can be swung like a weapon, it's not getting through. If you're traveling for a game, check it in, or be prepared to leave it behind. Think baby powder. Baking ingredients, bath salts, or anything powdery is harmless. Security doesn't. In the U.S., any powder over 12 ounces, 350 milliliters, could get flagged. Why? Because powders can be used to disguise explosives, and security isn't taking chances. There are a few exceptions. Baby formula, medications, and cremated remains are usually allowed, but they'll go through extra screening. A hammer, drill, or even a toaster in your carry-on. Not happening. Heavy tools and large electrical appliances have to go in checked luggage. And honestly, who's trying to bring a power drill in their carry-on anyway? If that was your plan, don't. Ever wondered why you can't bring a regular bottle of water on an international flight? Why the 3-1-1 liquid rule still exists after all? It's just water. Harmless, right? Well, not exactly. The strict limits on liquids, sprays, and gels exist for one reason: security. These substances can be used to create explosives or other hazardous materials, making them a serious threat on flights. By restricting liquids to small containers in clear plastic bags, airport security can easily screen and detect anything suspicious before it gets on board. This rule didn't come out of nowhere. Back in August 2006, British authorities uncovered a major terrorist plot at Heathrow Airport, where attackers planned to disguise liquid explosives in soft drink bottles and detonate them on flights bound for the U.S. and Canada. In response, the U.K. and U.S. immediately banned all liquids in carry-on luggage. Of course, a total ban wasn't practical forever. The rule was later adjusted to allow small amounts of liquid, 100 milliliters per container, stored in a clear resealable bag. This became known as the 3-1-1 rule, and since then, airports worldwide have followed the same restriction to keep flights safe. So next time you're forced to toss out your favorite drink before security, remember, it's not just an annoying rule, but a safety measure rooted in real threats. Airline rules are constantly changing, and what seems like an innocent item today could be the reason you get stopped tomorrow. Want to breeze through security without any surprises? Double-check the latest restrictions before you fly. Because trust me, you don't want to be the next "can you believe what happened at airport security" story.